The most iconic image associated with the Big Bang is not of a starfield or a nebula, but of a dot. A single small dot represents a universe smaller than the period at the end of this sentence, an entity so minute it defies our ability to conceptualize its size. This singularity is the supposed birthplace of everything we see around us. But consider the implications of this idea. If everything came from a point smaller than a pinhead, wouldn't the universe have been infinitely dense? Would all the matter in the universe have been crammed into a space so tiny that our instruments cannot fathom it? The problem with this common depiction is that it overlays our contemporary understanding of physics onto a concept that defies our current physical laws. As you will learn, a singularity doesn't just defy physics. It mocks it, turning the entire edifice of scientific knowledge on its head. We have been told that the universe began as a singularity, a place where the laws of physics broke down and mathematics lost all meaning. But what if this is not the start of the story, but merely the endpoint of a narrative that we have constructed to try to make sense of the cosmos? What if the Big Bang didn't begin with a singularity at all, but with the disappearance of one? Imagine the tiniest particle you can conceive, a building block of reality so small that it is utterly undetectable. Now picture a multitude of these particles, so densely packed that they occupy a space smaller than the width of a proton. Then imagine that space shrinking, collapsing, vanishing until that which was smaller than a proton becomes bigger than the observable universe. Here's the paradox. That which began smaller than a proton cannot be smaller than anything, because the concept of size itself becomes meaningless in a region where space ceases to exist. Our intuitions about scale, about the properties of particles and the nature of emptiness are all rooted in a framework of space and time. But what meaning do these concepts hold within the confines of a singularity? Size loses all meaning. Particles become unlocalizable, and space ceases to be a container of things. And yet we persist in thinking of the Big Bang as an event that happened somewhere, as if the notion of somewhere had any relevance within the confines of a mathematical singularity. The truth is that our conception of a singularity is a relic of Newtonian thinking, a macroscopic concept applied to a microscopic reality. In Newtonian physics, a planet's mass is distributed throughout its volume, and the center of that mass is the center of the planet. But at the atomic level, a planet's mass is concentrated in a nucleus far smaller than even a proton. So the Newtonian intuition that a singularity is a point of infinite density is not only wrong, it is misleadingly wrong. It conjures up an image that conflicts with our everyday experience and with the best current theories of physics. The Big Bang did not occur at a point of infinite density. It occurred at a point of infinite possibility. Every galaxy, every star, every atom, every electron, every photon, every whisper of cosmic radiation was potentially present in that infinitesimal moment. However, none of these things actually existed at the time. The Big Bang did not mark the beginning of existence, but the beginning of visibility. Before that moment, the universe was not nothing, but unobserved. It was not dark, but invisible. As Richard Feynman once said, there is no reason why time should have begun at the Big Bang. Time simply did begin at the Big Bang, just as our capacity to observe began at the same moment. We are not special. We are merely the latest in a long line of observers. Each generation inherits the universe at a particular stage of its evolution, and each generation thinks it is the beginning. The truth is that the beginning is wherever you are right now. To truly comprehend the implications of this is to realize that you are part of the beginning. The moment of the Big Bang is not behind you in a timeline. It is within you, here and now. In a way, the Big Bang continues to happen every time you observe the universe. With every conscious breath, you bring the universe into being. But what caused this process to begin in the first place? What triggered the collapse of the singularity that allowed the universe to reveal itself? The answer lies not in the laws of physics, but in the limits of our understanding of them. We have been told that the Big Bang was the moment when space expanded explosively, propelling the universe into existence. This imagery is so deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness that we rarely stop to question it. But what does it mean for space to expand? What is expanding into? The issue is analogous to standing inside a room and watching a wall move away from you. You might say that the wall is expanding, but that is misleading. The expansion is not happening to the wall, it is happening to your experience of the wall. In a similar manner, space does not expand into anything. Space is what expands. As space expands, our experience of distance increases. We call this expansion the stretching of space, but we might just as accurately say that the marks we make to measure distance are getting farther apart. The universe is not expanding into anything. It is expanding itself. And this self-expansion is not a new phenomenon, but as old as reality itself. The very notion of a beginning implies a previous state of non-being, a void or nothingness that existed before the universe came into being. But how can nothingness precede something? How can nothing evolve into something? And if the answer seems obvious to you, then you have fallen prey to the same faulty logic that has dominated Western thought for centuries. The idea that nothing can exist before something is an artificial construct of our minds, a consequence of imposing a linear narrative structure on a timeless reality. If you truly want to understand the Big Bang, then you must let go of the presumption that it followed any causal chain of events, because it did not. It did not follow from anything because it followed from nothing. The Big Bang was the spontaneous emergence of something from nothing, the ultimate creative act, devoid of any cause or explanation. It was the first and last miracle of the universe, a miracle that defies the laws of logic as well as the laws of physics. The universe didn't emerge out of necessity or obligation. It chose to emerge, and in doing so, it set in motion a chain of events that culminated in your existence here and now. The Big Bang did not bang, it whispered, and the whisper reverberated through eternity, revealing the universe to itself. And you are a product of that revelation, a conscious being brought into existence by the emergent properties of a self-organizing universe. The true story of the Big Bang is not a story at all, but an event that encompasses the entirety of time and space. It is not a beginning, because a beginning implies a time before the universe existed. It is not a creation, because nothing existed prior to creation. It is not an explosion, because nothing exploded. It is a revelation, a sudden unveiling of existence itself. The Big Bang is not something that happened. It is something that always happens, and you are its perpetual witness.